Hey, hey. Yeah, what's up, Duckbird? I can just show you what I'm doing with Oloa. Sorry I didn't see you in chat sooner. Doing a bit of multitasking. Hey, hey. What's up, the last walker? Haven't seen you in a while. Stream stuttering? Let me check. There's really not much going on right now. Is it the audio that's stuttering, or is it something else? It's pretty smooth for me, anyway. Looking at the stream details. Well, I don't see any drop frames or anything like that, Walker, so it could be your connection to Steam is not the best currently. I don't know. What was I doing? Alright, surveyed. Kind of crap little system, but take it. Guys, actually wait. 2 potential close systems. So one's even closer. I can deploy an MPG-2. I'm gonna go grab this one first, I think. 2 planets also. Oh. Cool. So it sounds like, based on what Zeke is saying, that the stream is running fine, so it's probably on your end, man. Sorry. Let's see, next. Crappy planet for me. It's okay. Only one system, one actual planet there. Gotham looks better. I'll go to Gotham next. Gotham from Archon. No closer routes. I already colonized this guy completely, right? Ooh. I have to hit 2 pile next with a second fleet. That's what I'll do. You guys. Wow, okay. Actually, you guys create a route to this dude. This would not be any route between these two. Over there. Survey this. It's not a full fleet, but it shouldn't take too long to survey. Worth it. That fleet with these guys, and I'm done. Lower, quite tricky, dude. They are quite tricky. Quite fun though. If any of you guys have any questions about the Loa, feel free to shoot them my way. Oh, Zeke, you're asking about the slider? That's the deploy MPG slider, basically? Sweet. This guy out of there. This guy's to PD. Yeah, there's a lot of micro with Loa. That is true. But really, it's not that bad. Kinda get used to it. The rest of their fleet's doing there, to be honest, but oh well. Yeah, I'm not sure where that pirate fleet is just sitting there. I could have picked a better fleet for this, but oh well. I tail it out of here, guys. Now they're moving. Now they is moving. Loa have really terrible armor, if you notice, when they come all rows, but they have a ton of structure, so structure on their ships is pretty much unmatched because, well, they're pretty much solid, like, solid material, right, so. Well, Zeke, they do take a lot of critical hits, but the critical hits that they can suffer are actually not as, like they end up not suffering as many, like, they don't, since they don't have crew, right? So they never suffer crew loss that ends up killing their ships. So a lot of the critical hits they still suffer are kind of nasty, but compared to a lot of the other races, I don't think they're anywhere near as bad. So yes, they end up taking a lot of crit hits, but they also have a ton of structure to work with, and one of the major series of critical hits are all related to like crew damage and things like that for other races, so. Thanks, Duckbird. I will destroy them all, or at least I'll try. You know, they're not all humans, but whatever. We're not counting that. Looks like the Hiver and Tarka are fighting. That's a good sign. I know that by looking at the combat prompt up at the upper right. You notice, I mean, I could be wrong that they're both fighting currently, but both those two players happen to have a combat going, which generally has some kind of indication that those two are engaged. I mean, they could technically be having two separate combats, but we'll see. I also have a guess. Actually did have a couple random drop frames, but there were only just several a little while ago. I think it's those usually happen in between, like when the battle is loading up. But I think the Twitch connection, your Twitch connection might be kind of bad. Someone else was saying the same, unfortunately. Zeke, if you're talking about the fight with, well, he's playing Tarka, I think, right? And I'm playing Loa. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him pretty hard, actually. Like, I have a pretty strong early game advantage in combat, in tactical with Loa. I'm pretty sure I should press that advantage as long as I can. So, I'm gonna see how long my assault forces last, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Excuse me. Hello, Trantor. I like you. Where are you? Oh my. Be mine. That is all. Q. Yeah, Zeke, the whole multiplayer arena is pretty challenging overall. There's a lot of nuances that you just don't really see when you're playing single player. At least, I mean, in my experience, anyway. Alright, what else was I doing? Alright, I have a good amount of money again. Consider building more cubes. Always need more cubes. More cubes. Yeah, but whatever. Reinforce that fleet down there with a random. Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll show off my ship fittings here at the beginning of this next turn here. Just one sec. No, never mind. Let me finish up this turn, then I'll show off some of the stuff I have designed currently. This is still early game, so these are all still turn 1 designs, so just keep that in mind. That crazy line coming from? Guess returning there because you're all done. Don't return there because... Okay. deploy an MPG there, so I have that link. MPG fleet from Archon is nothing. Get a new link out there with these guys. Just need one in the middle. Alright, surveying. Okay, so as far as my current ship designs, so I always design like a single like combat class CNC to be used in actual in melee range. Usually, I like melee design CNCs for Loa because their Strike Force CNC is actually a pretty potent ship, and even with Hammerhead they get a lot of medium mounts. So 2 heavy mounts, bunch of medium mounts, decent light mount coverage actually, all things considered. And even if you lose your CNC as Loa, it doesn't even matter. Your fleet doesn't get sent home. You just lose the cubes. I have a horrifically oversupply assault shuttle carrier, which is not always the best design type, but primarily I care about the assault shuttles anyway. These missiles are just kind of for initial alpha volleys. I always design one of these, which I usually call cheapo CNCs, which are as low cube cost as possible for Loa. That way I can use these for transporting individual like fleets around and all kinds of other things like that. They're pretty commonly used amongst my fleets that I don't care about actually seeing combat. My primary offensive ship right now, a Brawler, which has all energy weapons, plasma, tons of particle beams. And I currently have this guy set up with auxiliary fission just for later, because I plan to upgrade these to fusion cannons later, which are incredibly potent as well. I could put the boarding modules on them, but I kind of have mixed feelings about the way that the boarding modules work for these ships. I kind of like the actual dedicated boarding ships a lot better because they have a lot less micro in combat primarily, and these boarding ships have a lot better point defense coverage too, which is really handy. If you notice, they actually have a decent amount of light mount coverage right up there on this front section. I have drone carriers, which I actually use quite a bit. And I have as cheap as possible repair and salvage ship, so I can get them without that much cube cost. That's pretty much it. I strip off armor and put really basic weapons on my assimilators because they'll never see combat if I can help it. And you spend the cube cost for an assimilator anytime you colonize a new planet. So that's a pretty major concern. That's probably way too fast. I'm going to bottom myself out on money. I can afford it for a little bit. It's a decent staging ground for me right now, so. Does that answer your question about... sorry, I do have one missile designed ship, and I have one brawler designed ship. So I have these Guardians here are primarily missiles. I mix in a little bit of these just so I wouldn't be over supply limit. Because if I'm over supply limit, then I end up reducing my ROF overall. But these guys are pretty heavy missile, and I have just some basic plasma cannons so I can at least tussle in melee a little bit. So yeah. Zeke, the cost for cube maintenance, whether you have 1,000,000 or 1,000, is exactly the same. In fact, if I like this fleet here, you know, all these ships in that, each one of these ships when they're actually formed has the standard 5,000 upkeep. But if I revert it to cube, this entire fleet only has 5k upkeep no matter what. Which is a pretty major advantage for the Loa in some ways. Especially since considering how versatile all their different fleets are. I want to support this last one real quick because I missed the last little bit of biosphere. And people are waiting on me again, so I'm going to try to wrap this turn up. Alright, I got some more cubes now. Should scout out Conda at some point. Maybe I should push over to Malintz. That looks like an even better system. I'll wait till this fleet is more fully formed though first.
Hear me, parents.
And yeah, no problem, Karu, for showing you the designs. No worries. So Zeke, you're asking about the maintenance. So if a fleet is in reserve, if like the cubes are sitting in a colony, then there's a standard, what is it, 1.5k maintenance for either 1,000,000 cubes or 1,000 cubes. It doesn't really matter what. They're counted as one ship, quote unquote. So I'm going to colonize this bad boy right here. Here's I have now. Let's see. Yeah, this'll work. Let's turn. Alright, 2-pile. I just explored 2-pile. It looked pretty good. Is it very good? Awesome. Some more cubes up to this guy here next, though. Colonize. Sure, that's the cheapest one. Karu, it really depends. Like, a lot of times as Loa, I just kind of plan on killing them. But if I can possibly incorporate them, that might be useful just to get a big population boost from that colony. So, kind of have mixed feelings about how to handle them. A lot of times I just kind of ignore them for a while and don't even worry about them. But I really, they're often a late game concern of mine. Granted, I could probably wipe them out in like a single turn and just take that colony from them and be better off because of it, but I like the concept of actually incorporating them first, or at least researching the incorporation tech and all that. Some of them have some pretty good bonuses, but alright, I'm gonna just form you into a fleet now. I need another colonization fleet. No matter what you are. Black thumb, it doesn't really matter. Second colonization fleet. Oh, I already have a second colonization fleet, whatever. Be actually able to reach them directly. It's in the distance. yep, I'll be able to reach it directly. I'll just relocate the other ships there next. Yeah, Karu. Liberationism is pretty much always the best choice for Loa. I really can't think of any other government type that's even comes close. The reduction in cube cost is unmatched. Freaking unmatched. Grab another set. Doesn't matter who. Second transport fleet. Doesn't matter. They're in patrol anyway. Our direct route transport fleet. Alright, you Trantor guys here. This guy actually already, he's not. Alright, so I'm gonna actually just double down and, oops, the wrong thing. Actually, I don't need to do this at all. I don't know why I keep doing this. Support. Oh. Kinds of floundering, I guess. Hate that bug. Oh well. This is why I do this. Set composition, construction fleet. Station. Doesn't really matter where it is, it's just anywhere. So Zeke, so as far as like MPG gates and the logistics therein, I missed your question earlier. You still there? Alright, so the quick answer to your question is it depends. So if there's a big enough distance between stars, you need MPG gates in order to maximize your travel speed no matter what, right? And you need one at the beginning and you need one at the end in order to actually, like, both leave there with your FTL speed and, launch towards it and come back, for example, right? And as long as it's within about 10 light years, you can usually make it to that system no matter what within 3 turns, essentially, like your maximum FTL speed, even if there's no MPG gates in between. Now, on offense, I usually deploy as many MPG gates as I can. That way, if I need to retreat or pull back, I can fall back to those MPG gates along the route back and make sure that I'm at full FTL speed on my way back. So say, for example, I lose my FTL, my MPG gate, or the MPG at the system, which is really easy to kill, then I won't leave that system with FTL speed at all. I'll be going 0.75 light years per turn, which is pretty nasty. Now, the other reason to deploy MPG gates, even though you don't need the speed boost from it, so to speak, between your own systems, like is to create new routes, so to speak. So if there's already an MPG gate formed, like between 2 different systems, like say one at the start and then one at the destination, and there's they consider it a path between those 2 systems, right? That's a valid path that they can take for travel, right? Now they won't use their pathfinding logic between systems, just any systems that don't have that haven't had an established link, that someone hasn't established a link between, right? Now, in order to establish a link, you need at least 1 MPG gate deployed, which could include the ones out in deep space. So, in order to ensure that my paths within my own network, I create kind of a bit of a web between all my various systems to ensure that I have a good route between all the locations, especially my front line. So, if I'm deploying between 2 systems that already have gates at them, I need to deploy an MPG in deep space between them, even if I don't need it for the FTL speed boost. Does that make sense? Yep. It's kind of tricky, and it requires some planning and management of your whole network. But it, as long as you plan around it, then you can ensure that you have good pathfinding across your entire empire. Yeah, it takes a lot of thinking and planning, unfortunately. But yeah, it is a side effect of playing Loa. Alright, folks, I'm gonna go AFK just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
A new child of Oran has been born, Oro. Hear me, parents.
Alright, I'm back. How do you fight them as... like, which... Zeke is, which race are you talking about? So, Loa and Zuul are quite good. That's true at the early game. But... they're certainly not undefeatable. Like... The answer, unfortunately, to that question really heavily depends on what race you're playing. Because each race has their own sets of tips and tricks and different options and all kinds of stuff. So, like, okay, I wish I had a better answer than that, but that's probably my best answer for you. Like, it depends. Like, if you have a specific race, like race matchup that you're asking about, that I could talk to that pretty easily. But like every race has pretty good counters to just about any other race, to be honest with you. Like, there's lots of interconnected options available to you that are pretty diverse. You guys, they want to deploy an MPG there, so I have a good route between those two. Just going to do a basic transport fleet there. I'm going to siphon off some cubes. One zero 4,000 400. Guys, you supporting this bad boy. Okay. Poor Pyko trying to kill some Morrigi drones. So, say you're we'll go through a couple hypotheticals. Say you're Tarka, right? Like, say we're saying that Lear isn't really bad in the beginning. The thing to really understand about Lear early game is they have a huge potential to grab some really devastating early technology, like faster than everyone else can. So yes, their turn 1 designs aren't amazing, but they can still compete against a lot of the other races, even with their turn 1 designs, believe it or not. It's challenging and you'll suffer losses, but you can actually fight a lot of even standard attrition battles with them. But and as far as like the speed of Lear is probably their trickiest element to counter, to compensate for, I mean. Just because of the simple fact that they have a long travel time between systems, just almost universally. But a lot of that can just be countered with some planning of really good routes. So Swift Factory's taking over a slot, huh? Excellent. Alright, sorry. Wait, figure out what I was doing before I finished that that train of thought. Sorry. Alright. I have a decent amount of territory here. I should push out somewhere new from this location. I have a good full survey fleet here. Like that colony at all, but I might just go explore it anyway. I want to go for this one instead. It's not too far off. I'll deploy both, because it's a pretty long distance. Going to keep fleet. Travel along with them afterwards, after I build them anyway. To reinforce it after it gets there. This was bad planning on my part. I could have gotten there faster, probably going through that route instead. Oh well. I thought they were close enough, but I misunderestimated the 0.4 light years that they were missing. Oh well. Yeah, Karu, fast torpedoes with Lear are an amazingly good strategy. So are fast, just immediate battle riders. Like just grabbing battle riders, or even grabbing shields. Like actually grabbing even like Mark 1 shields as Lear allow you to like stand toe to toe brawling with like even Hiver ships. Like I've done that recently even. It's pretty amazing.
A new mainframe is under construction.
Hear me, parents.
So, Zeke, like with Loa, actually I go for those defense assets pretty quick because they're one of the better ways to actually defend your colonies adequately. As Morrigi, I try to get them fairly soon also just because they have amazing drones. So, like, defense assets for Loa, I think, are incredibly important. And any colony that you, like, if you have a lot of asteroid fields, for example, a lot of asteroid belts, grabbing early drone platforms, for example, is really really good. I don't know why I'm building them here. Oops, whatever. Here though. Many cubes as you can. Just checking up on a couple things. Well, asteroid belts are what causes you to get meteor strikes. And meteor strikes can be a huge cause of, actually, like rebellions is probably one of the bigger things that they can cause. They can kill off fleets, and like if you don't have something defending there, then you won't be able to get any resources out of, for like not very many resources anyway. You'll get some, but not much. Well, so Zeke, like, it depends on if you're fighting a defensive battle or if you're still on the offense. Like, if you're if you need to defend yourself, then yes. Like if you're stuck up against an enemy force and you know that you're going to be running into them and they're going to attack you and they have like the strategic mobility advantage over you, then researching the assets to give yourself the edge when defending is really really good. Now, if you're on the offense, then researching defensive assets may not be your best option anyway. So like it heavily depends. Ah, poor Kreelar. Goodbye, Kreelar. No. So yeah, that does that answer your question, Zeke? Karu, the game setup is, I think we have a slightly boosted economy, like 125%, but slightly reduced the other thing, research. So those two things combined basically make it so we have more money, but we have like the research rate still. The research rate is still like equivalent to like the normal.
There's been a new discovery, Falcona.
No, I'm sure they're quite fine with you asking questions, man. And if they're not, well, whatever. People ask questions. One Grand Menace, one GM, I believe, is the current setting. I personally would have preferred more, but whatever. I like more Grand Menaces just because they're endlessly entertaining to me. Alright, the question now is what do I go for next? I'm actually tempted to go drone satellites sooner rather than later. Yeah, actually I'm gonna go drone satellites right now. Alright, where is this crazy fleet going? The MPG fleet is returning because that's what I told him to do. You guys, are you done at 2-pile? What are you doing here at 2-pile? Alright, you're now done here at 2-pile. That's probably why. Cube. Go there. To here. Actually gonna create. Let's see. A useful defender fleet. Sergeant isn't very good. Glory Hound is pretty awesome. I like Glory Hound a lot. Attacker fleet here, so I think I had an attacker. Yeah. An enemy-owned systems. Okay, that's not going to help when I intercept it all. Alright, so I'm going to change this guy first to Glory Fleet. Alright. Be there in a couple turns, 2 turns. Should be able to have enough there to defend against that incoming Hiver incursion. God, I should really go FTL Econ next, shouldn't I? Bleh. Keep forgetting I haven't grabbed that yet. FTL Econ, go!
We are ready to begin.
Alright, 6 more turns. I have 2 fleets there in next turn. Alright, Mountus, you guys are returning back from doing something. Alright, you guys are all done here. Revert to cube, cancel that mission. Actually want to deploy a quick... Oh, you guys can't, huh? Yeah, well, this is what I think about that. I want to deploy an MPG fleet. Let's do a quick MPG gate right here. Locations. Saudi. You guys go into that fleet now. Alright. done at Gotham? I think I'm done at Gotham. Yep. Colonizing, good sir. Moving there to defend. Could even strike Badoon, I think. I might strike it from a different location though. Noted. This is the other thing I was gonna do. No matter what it is. Survey right from these guys. Alright. I could research boost, but I haven't really had that good of luck with it in the last couple times I tried it. And I am using a lot of money right now towards boosting up my my cube count overall. Doing a pretty aggressive kind of expansion game right now with this, with my current Loa, so. Ooh, he's at Wester too. Alright, what other fleets do I have? Colonizing this. To reinforce you with these. See a Zuul over here now. Nice. Alright, it's time to start hunkering down a little bit. See forces everywhere. Yeah, this is where things start getting intense in larger games like this. Right now, I'm trying to capitalize on my early game advantage, Karu, essentially. So I can ensure that folks don't build up to the point where I can no longer combat them. So like, Loa are tricky because like their mid game is pretty difficult. Their early game is really strong, I feel, and their late game is incredibly strong. But getting over that mid-game hump is always the challenge. You usually kind of do an aggressive expansion to get as much as territory as you can, and then you just try to hold on to that as you build up and try to get your colonies up and running fully. And then once they're fully up and running, you have lots of population, your technology and your economy starts booming. But it takes some time. I wonder what Nickerson is fighting. I haven't run into him yet. Yeah, mid-game is like that phase where people are coming into their third and fourth revision, like designs and whatnot, where you have like a decent chunk of techs under your belt already, and you're starting to like you haven't gone to Dreadnought yet, you haven't gone to Antimatter. Like Antimatter Dreadnought is definitely like late game in my opinion, but like that phase where you have more advanced fusion cruiser era ships that are specialized and try to defeat certain types of enemy forces, where you have like a lot of your basics covered, like point defense and like either battle riders or some other you know, like long-range attack ships, things like that. Battle Riders are actually an incredibly good counter against Loa because my point defense mount coverage is pretty bad. Like, I don't have a lot. Just as bad, basically. It's pretty terrible. Let's see. What should I attack him with? Drones and missiles. Should probably fight him with a Bokor fleet here, I think. Emitters would definitely help, yes. Emitters are a good counter. I would probably deal with them with brawlers, actually. Believe it or not. That or longer range standoff ships. So I have a speed advantage over Tarka. So I can stay at longer range than they can actually attack me. let's see how this combat goes here. Alright, let's do this.
By your command. Coordinates received. Target locked. Powering down drive. Glory.
That's pretty funny. Ah, that's a couple ships, but I killed a lot more of his, so. Why am I shooting him for all 4 directions? Well, it's mostly to just distribute my different fleets around to to move from different angles, essentially. I'm mostly encompassing him so he can't run away. This is primarily why I'm surrounding him like that. Alright, let's see. I need... I'm doing you. Actually, I want to recolonize poor or lost Kreelar system here. That's pretty funny, Zeke. Well, sounds like our game may be closer than I expected. That works, though. Alright, other system. I'm gonna build up some more at Kreelar here. So I need more cubes. Always need more cubes. More cubes, more ships, all that. Alright, looks like we're calling it again.
A new mainframe is under construction.
Hear me.
Well, Zeke, that's it for that game anyway. I'll see if I can host up. I'll need to reset my router real quick. So I'll probably have to take the stream offline real quick. So I'll be back in just a sec. I need to be able to host up this game in order to even continue another one. So.